We are making Chipotle style chicken bowls at home and you are going to love them. The recipe for the chicken, it is life-changing. I know it sounds insane to say that because it's just a recipe, but it is delicious. And if you are a meal prep type of person, you will love this because you will get so much flavor in that protein, you'll never get tired of it. And you can use it like we're doing today on a bowl, in a wrap, burrito, on a salad, whatever your heart desires. It is magnificent. A couple weeks ago, I had, to my knowledge, my first Chipotle experience. Now, my husband says we've been there years ago, and I just don't remember. And I have a great memory, so if I don't remember, I'm gonna go on record to say he's wrong and I'm right. It was my first Chipotle experience, and I got a bowl that had lime, cilantro rice, corn, beans, pico, a little guac, and chicken, and it was delicious. Didn't love the price tag, but I loved the convenience of it. I love that it wasn't a traditional fast food. It was a great option for on the go. And from that moment forward, I was like, I am determined to make my own version of this. And gun it if this is not a copycat version, okay? It is delicious. The chicken is dynamite. Let's get going on making the marinade because the chicken does need to set for a little bit. I'm gonna do it in my little Ninja, and in here, everything's gonna go right in. And again, it's very simple and very easy. You're gonna start off with some scallions. You could also use like a quarter of an onion if you want. I'm not that precious about it. You're just gonna need some alliums, and anything in the onion family will work here. Add that to a blender, a food processor, whatever your heart desires, whatever you wanna use. You're gonna need some chipotles in adobo. Chipotles in adobo are smoked chilies, and they have a really beautiful, again, smokiness to them. They're spicy, they're delicious, they are packed with flavor, and we love them in this house. So however many you want to add, it really just depends on how spicy you want it to be. I'm gonna go with about 2 and a couple of tablespoons, maybe a tablespoon or so of the sauce as well. So good, you cannot imagine. Then to this, you're gonna add fresh garlic, cumin. This is Mexican oregano, which has got like a lovely lemon edge to it. I already said cumin. And then I'm going to just bump up that chili flavor with a little bit of chili powder, bump it up the fresh garlic and onion with a little garlic and onion powder. Those are really not necessary, but I just like to boost up the flavor everywhere I can because I like flavor. I am using chicken thighs, boneless, skinless chicken thighs, because they're superior in all ways. In flavor, usually on the wallet as well. They can be definitely less expensive than chicken breast, but use whatever you can find, whatever has a good deal that week. If it's chicken breast, use chicken breast. If it's chicken thighs, use chicken thighs. I'm gonna use some lime juice. If you wanna use vinegar instead, use vinegar instead. You just need a little bit of acid to balance the heat. Good pinch of salt. This is really the only time you get a chance to season that chicken from within, and just a couple tablespoons of oil. You can use a neutral oil like an avocado or canola. I'm using just a regular olive oil, and I like to add about a tablespoon or so of water. And what that does is it just gets it going, and it makes the marinade a bit more, I was gonna say more vibey, like a little looser, so that it coats that chicken really nicely. Not much at all. Put the lid on, and then just blend this until nice and smooth. Before we go any further, I forgot a really important ingredient. I like to add a little bit of chicken bouillon powder. I love this in marinades and anything that really involves chicken. It just boosts up a little bit of almost like an umami flavor. It's like salt in a different way. I added a touch more water as well. It's like salt, but in a different way, and it's just, you don't have to do it, but it's good. Now, taste your marinade. This is the time, oh, this is perfect. Woo! Not Chinese head. That is the time to taste it before you introduce it to your raw protein, because you can tailor it. So if it's not limey enough, you add more lime. If it's not spicy enough, you add more spice. Definitely do it ahead of time, not after. These are the chicken thighs I'm using. I trimmed a lot of the fat off. I like to leave some on, not a lot, but some on, because that equals flavor. I also like to stab it in a few places with a sharp knife because it allows the flavor of the marinade to really penetrate through. And we love that in this house, okay? Because we want flavor throughout. Again, boneless, skinless, but you can use breast if you want to. You can, oh, this would also be great. I haven't done it, but I'm assuming, because why not, that this would be really great on shrimp or any kind of seafood. You just don't want to marinate it as long because the lime juice will quite literally cook your seafood, and we don't want to do that. I'm just grabbing a spatula like so, and now you're going to just take this and pour it all over. And there's so much heat and flavor in here that it is going to make the most flavorful, the most delicious. If you are trying to get that protein in, and you are a meal prep person and you just can't do bland flavors, because I just cannot, this is a recipe that you need to have in your back pocket, because not only is it so easy, because you can marinate this the day before and then just cook it when you need, it truly is so incredibly good. It'll change your life. Now I'm gonna toss this around. You can see that the chicken is pretty much like really coated in that marinade, and that's what you want. I don't want skimpiness here, okay? Cover it and refrigerate a minimum of a couple of hours, but you can also do it the night before. Totally up to you. I'm just gonna leave it for a couple of hours, and then we're gonna make the rice, and I'll do the beans, and the corn is also easy, but sensational. I figured while the chicken is marinating, let's work on the other components, because I feel like it is the combination of all of these together that makes those bowls so good. So we're gonna do a cilantro lime rice. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're gonna cook up some beans. I'm gonna need you to pretend that these are cooked pinto beans, okay? Because I was, browsing around and grabbed the wrong can. These are kidney beans, which work great. You can do kidney, black beans, pinto beans, whichever your heart desires. These are by no means any authentic frijoles, but trust me, they are fantastic. In a saucepan, I got a little oil, adding onions, jalapeno, and some garlic. And I'm just gonna sweat these. I'm not looking to develop a lot of color. I just wanna sweat them and just, bring out their flavors. And another thing that's really like a must-have, at least for me anyway, is the corn salsa, which is literally pico, but instead of tomato, you use corn. And it's gotta be sweet canned corn, in my opinion, because it tastes the best, unless you're talking fresh, sweet summer corn, in which case, that's what you should be using. And I just have that in here. And to it, I'm gonna go ahead and add some red onion, jalapeno, and some cilantro. I'm gonna just go ahead and toss it all together with a squeeze of lime and a healthy pinch of salt. And the best part about all of this is that what makes this so delicious is just giving it time to sit. When you give it time to sit and marinate and all those flavors to really come out, that's what makes it so delicious. It's like it really gives everything time to bloom and all the flavors to marry. And this is done. Easy peasy, right? Your pico, you know how to make pico. You don't need me to tell you how to make pico. You need Roma tomatoes, which is what I like to use. I like to use tomatoes, onion, or scallions, whichever you prefer. Lime juice, jalapeno, lots of cilantro, and then you're just gonna give it a toss. And again, let it sit. De-seed your tomatoes. It'll be a lot less watery and a lot more just chunky and delicious. I took a shortcut and bought my guac already made because none of my avocados at the grocery store were even close to being ready. And I just knew that I didn't want to wait 17 days to make my guac. So I just bought guac and it's in the fridge, but I will add more cilantro and more lime when I go to use it. And then for the beans, so easy. These are gonna go ahead and sweat for just a couple of minutes, and then we'll add our beans. And then once we're there, we'll talk about the rice. Add your beans in, along with Mexican oregano and a little bit of cumin, a little bit of water, and then I like a little bouillon, chicken bouillon, of course, as my salt. And I think what makes these really good is if you have a little bit of this, we like spice, so a little bit of this adobo sauce. Add that in there, and all you're gonna do with the beans is just let them simmer. Just like slowly simmer for like half hour, 20 minutes, something like that, low. You're not looking to do anything crazy because the beans are already cooked. If you're using dry beans, pre-cook your beans first. for the rice, before we start cooking the rice, we gotta talk about my method for cooking rice, which really razzle dazzles some people because I'm well aware that it's not an authentic way of cooking rice. I know that, but it's sort of my way of ensuring that I get perfectly fluffy rice every single time. And to me, that is cooking it the same way I would cook pasta, which means lots of water. I don't measure. Lots of water up to a boil. I season my water well with salt. When I cook rice, I also like to add chicken bouillon, and in this case, I'm also gonna add a bay leaf. And I cook my long grain rice for 10 minutes. Then I drain it and I put that hot rice back in the pot with the lid on, and it continues to steam those last 5 minutes or so, and it cooks the rice perfectly. And it ensures that you don't get like really wet rice. That's my way of cooking it. And obviously I don't have to tell you that none of this is anything authentic, but it is delicious. And it just works so well. So I've got plenty of water here, pretty much up to a boil. I'm gonna go ahead and add a bay leaf for this and some chicken bouillon powder. This is my salt. I like to rinse my rice, wash off all that starch so that you get as fluffy of a rice as possible. And I'm just gonna cook this without the lid on for 10 minutes, and then I'll drain it and I'll put it back into this pot with the lid on. And that's how I cook my rice. My rice is cooked, and look at how fluffy it is. It's tinted yellow because I added the bay and the chicken bouillon powder, always tinted a little bit. And then you just add lime and cilantro, whatever you want to call it. By no means is any of this authentic, but you know, it's just delicious. And the only thing that we can really be authentic about, no matter what you're cooking, no matter how familiar you are with the cuisine, you can only be authentic to cooking what you like. Like, it's authentically you, but not authentic to Mexican cuisine, which is elite, might I add, with the capital elite. Hard to beat. What can I say? This obviously is best made on the grill or any open flame. It is currently January, and I don't know about you, but the groundhog lied because it's snowing and hailing outside. So I'm just gonna make this in my indoor grill pan. You can also make this just on your cast iron skillet, but I'm just gonna make it in my indoor grill pan, and it is gonna be delicious. And we're not gonna worry about it, you know? I'm just gonna cook it until it's fully cooked through. We have every element ready, and then we move on once it's all done. Look at this gorgeous color. Look at this juicy, delicious chicken. Listen, okay? It is so sublime. It's unbelievable. And now you're just gonna make your bowl. They have those like oval looking things. I want one of those. But for now, I'm just gonna use what I got. You're gonna do some rice. You can also do like lettuce if you want. I'm absolutely not gonna do that. But you can definitely do that, okay? I like a little bit of everything. I've got my chicken. I'll put that right in the middle. I've got my beans. I've got my corn. I want to get a little bit of pico. You can also do sour cream. I do not, but you certainly can. And then a little bit of guac. Listen, you don't have to trust me. You can make this and learn that it is insanely delicious. As a meal prep, honestly, it is where it's at. It is where it's at, okay? It is delicious. It is so full of flavor. You can make all your components and store them separately, and then make your bowls as needed. A slam dunk. Go to laurainthekitchen.com for the written recipe. Hope you enjoy spending time with me. This is a must make if you love good food. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.